Making an episode of a live action show is a lot like baking a pie. To make a good one requires equal parts hard work, time, and love. If you succeed, you'll create something great to be enjoyed by everyone. But if you are missing even one of the key ingredients,
you will fail and it will burn,
leaving a lingering scent. My name is PIEGUYRULZ, and I'm here at the bottom of the bakery to smell that pie. Metaphorically speaking, of course. In reality, I'm here to talk to you guys about an episode of a Schneider's Bakery show that was really not good.
Hey guys, PIEGUYRULZ here, and welcome back to the bottom of the bakery. Sure enough, Henry Danger Season 2 has brought me at least one episode that is definitely deserving to be on the bottom of the bakery. The episode, appropriately enough, is called Christmas Danger. Captain Man gets arrested because he wasn't wearing a hairnet while serving food, and apparently that's illegal. Joshi wants to bust him out of jail by committing stupid crimes, but unsurprisingly, that gets him arrested. Henry also commits stupid crimes to save Captain Man from being alone with Joshi. Unsurprisingly, he also gets arrested. Also, Charlotte does too, because she was watching Henry commit these crimes and didn't do anything. Henry's parents find out that Henry was arrested and harass a cop, so they get arrested too. Now everyone's in jail and the series is over. Nah, that's just wishful thinking. It would have been a real Christmas miracle. But no, the episode ends with them still stuck in jail, but hey, they sing a Christmas song. Yay. The episode is like a fruitcake. Yeah, that just about says it all. Alright, so let's first start talking about laws. The episode is obviously inspired by all those wacky Snapple facts about crazy laws that are still in effect. Like the no ice cream in your back pocket in some state law. The thing about these laws is that they're still in effect because no one cares enough to get them repealed, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't actually ever be enforced. However, for the sake of the episode, let's just play along. This is fiction after all. A character in the episode literally says to suspend your disbelief, which is totally not on the nose or anything. Anyway, my point is just that this episode is in no way representative of any reality, which is fine. I'm just saying this doesn't work as a ripped from the headline story like the Blue Dog Soda one. Next up, let's analyze this as a Christmas special. It isn't one. The plot about dumb laws could have happened at literally any time. Sure, they say the judge is away for Christmas and that's why they can't be let out immediately, but that's just some random excuse and could have been anything. They also say it's bad that Captain Man is in jail on Christmas, but that would have been bad no matter what time of year it was. The only other thing this has to do with Christmas is one conversation about Christmas ornaments and Henry's dad's obnoxious love of bells. As a Christmas episode, this is really pathetic. Towards the end, you think they're going for a we can bring Christmas to this jail cell thing, but that amounts to singing and playing spoons to a Christmas song. That's it. There is no substitute for a tree, no trying to find presents for each other in the cell, no improvised Christmas. Just the one song is apparently enough to make it a happy ending. Hey, the one song worked for the Who's in Whoville, and The Grinch is a great animated special. But you know what else that special had? Effort. Things happening. The Christmas spirit. That one time the Full House gang got trapped at the airport for Christmas was a better Christmas episode than this one. And I hate complimenting Full House. Also, this episode has zilch to do with the premise of Captain Man being a hero. He gets arrested as Captain Man, but it literally could have just been Ray as well. It makes no difference to this episode. Maybe they could have had it where his alter ego had some sort of important Christmas family gathering he needed to be at, and that could be a conflict since he's stuck in jail but no one knows because he's there as Captain Man. Or maybe the cops or a hoodlum could threaten to unmask him to add some sort of ticking clock to get him out of jail, or even just a little bit of suspense. Maybe he runs into a thug he put in jail and there's an interesting conflict there. But nope, not even a half-hearted attempt to work in the central premise of the show. But okay, it not being Christmassy or a good satire of real-world events or having nothing to do with the show's premise, none of those things actually make this bad. It definitely fails in those three categories, but it could be just a fine episode without them. However, it's on here, so you know that it has other problems. Remember those bells I was talking about? Henry's dad annoys everyone with them, including me. It's not the worst thing this episode does, but it's not helping. And have I mentioned yet that the dad on this show is a butt monkey that has odd hobbies and nobody likes him? Gee, I've never seen that before on Drake and Josh. Oh, and the resemblance between Piper, Henry's little sister, and Megan from Drake and Josh is beginning to become really noticeable. She's only in this episode for a few minutes and manages to max out her dad's credit cards, convince her parents to get themselves arrested, and throw a party on Christmas, all without a single drop of karma hitting a hair on her precious little head. The only difference is that on this show, the parents actually know she's a horrible human being. Alright, so the biggest problem with this episode is that nothing happens. Characters break dumb laws and get thrown in jail. That's all you get. Everything is motivated by idiocy, and there's no proper ending either. It all feels so slow and unsatisfying. Like a lot of Henry Danger episodes, the pacing is just ungodly. To see a show move as slow as molasses where every single character makes the same exact stupid mistake in thinking that somehow breaking the law will solve anything, only to finish it off with a non-ending, is just a really sad viewing experience. Even within the show's internal logic, there's no reason whatsoever for many of these characters to get arrested. Just go post bail or something. At least Joshi had a plan, thinking that breaking the law might somehow show how stupid the laws are. Even though that plan is obviously kind of dumb, at least it is somewhat of a plan. Henry wanted to make sure Captain Man wasn't alone with Joshi, so instead of actually doing something to try and get Captain Man out of prison, he just gets himself arrested so that he'll be with Captain Man and Joshi. And Charlotte is just arrested for watching Henry put on 2 hats, because apparently this is now Seinfeld, where you're arrested for just watching someone else commit a crime. Weren't Henry and Charlotte watching Jasper commit the crimes? Why weren't they arrested then? And what about all those people at the beginning of the episode that watched Ray serve food without a hairnet and didn't say a single word? The show doesn't care about following logic or the story that it sets up. It just has a stupid premise of all the characters get arrested and wants to do whatever contrived thing it takes to get them to that point. And Henry's parents especially have absolutely no reason to do what they do. Piper whispers something to them that we don't get to hear, and then they proceed to assault the police officer. By the way, what they do is not about breaking a stupid law. They both literally reach for the officer's pants. One destroys his walkie-talkie, the other pantses him. Firstly, that is assault and destruction of property, which are not stupid laws. Secondly, do not ever reach for a policeman's pants. That's where his gun is. You will be rightfully attacked in self-defense. And then, maybe you'll get arrested, or maybe you'll just be dead. Seriously, could they not have thought of something sillier to do to this cop that doesn't involve putting their hands near his gun? It's not there to help the story or anything. It's just zany hijinks, which would be fine if it wasn't such an idiotic thing for 2 adult characters to do. Oh, and of course the show doesn't address this, it's just meant to be silly. But if that's the case, could the writers have seriously not have thought of something a little bit more clever and a little bit less really freaking stupid for these characters to do? And speaking of stupid, why did they do this in the first place? What is getting themselves arrested going to accomplish? What did Piper whisper to them to make them do this? When they assault the officer, they look all smug like they have some sort of plan, and they don't. When Henry questions his mom, all she says is, "Oh, I don't want you to be alone on Christmas." You couldn't have just visited him or try anything to actually get him out of the situation? And heck, by that logic, you are leaving your daughter alone on Christmas. This is just so freaking stupid. Like, when you actually break down what happens in this episode, it's just unbelievable how repetitive and idiotic it all is. And not even in any sort of zany fun way, just in a, wow, these characters are really stupid and not doing anything to get themselves out of this situation. Oh, and while in jail, Charlotte whines about being in a man's jail. Lady, the fact that you're in jail to begin with is a bigger issue, and seriously? Wouldn't you rather be with Captain Man and Henry than a bunch of criminal ladies? I get that typically men and women are separated in prison, but look at your situation. You are way better off. And she mentions it 2 times. Now let's talk about the fact that this entire plot happened because Captain Man broke the law. Since it's such a minor, petty law, you'd think that this plot happens because Captain Man didn't know about it. Wrong-o. That's how the plot should have gone. But instead, Captain Man is the one who first mentions that not wearing a hairnet while serving is against the law, and then knowingly decides to break it because he didn't want to wear a hairnet, thus making this plot entirely his fault, and jail time totally avoidable. Sure, one could argue that he didn't expect to be arrested for such a petty crime, but he forced Henry to wear it, and this makes him look a heck of a lot less of a poor innocent victim because it was his fault. Oh, and speaking of the beginning, there's also a really abrasive, shrill, annoying woman that kind of reminds me of the internet there. She's the one that forces Captain Man to be arrested for not wearing the hairnet. This woman is literally never seen in the rest of the episode. In a good story, this woman might have been the key to letting Captain Man out, since she was the one who got him put in jail in the first place, but nope! She's just a lazy plot device that made me genuinely confused if she was supposed to be a recurring character on the show or something. What kind of hack writing is that? They introduce this nutty off-the-wall antagonist and then just drop her from the episode as soon as the title sequence hits? Also before the title sequence is a scene where a reporter interviews Captain Man and makes him look bad because he didn't text her when he said he would after a date. Why he's dating people as a superhero instead of his alter ego was beyond me. I mean, why go on a date with someone who can't reveal any of their personal information? Kinda seems like Ray's taking advantage of the fact that he's a superhero. Once again, she is dropped after the titles. What was the purpose of that? Wouldn't it have been better if Henry had to convince her that Captain Man is a good guy so she would use her news connections to stir up a fuss about him being arrested? Why does this episode decide to ignore things that could have been a way better story in favor of the herder, everyone breaks the law and gets arrested story with a non-ending? Luckily, this episode contains one running gag that I actually like. Captain Man hitting on Henry's mom. It's funny because it's so dang inappropriate, and they really push the joke hard, not just in this episode. Though of course, that's a very minor praise in a sea of complaints. Ugh. Even for a fruitcake, that looks bad. But hey, it's pretty fitting. Fruitcake takes a long time to get through, nobody really wanted it in the first place, and it actually has very little to do with Christmas. And it has nothing to do with superheroes either. The episode has some stupid logic, it's pretty dang boring and slow, has nothing to do with Christmas or superheroes, and it's probably the last thing you want to watch at Christmas time. Hopefully this video was a nice treat though. Merry Christmas, PIEGUYRULZ, out.